Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste and a very warm welcome to yet another session in our Weekend with Wisdom series. My name is Shri Hari and I'm a curator at Indica Moksha. We would like to begin this session with an invocation. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunattu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. In today's session, we are going to dive into a very interesting quintessential topic in Sanatana Dharma, which is Vivaham, importance and the procedural aspects of it. And to take us through this very interesting, essential topic, we have with us Bhuvaneshwari Lakshminarayanan ji. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Bhuvaneshwari ji to the audience. Namaskaram, Bhuvaneshwari ji. Thank you so much for accepting our invite for this series.
Namaskaram ji.
Bhuvaneshwari ji is a speaker and performer who delivers discourses on Vedic texts, Puranas, Itihasas, and Upanishads in Tamil, Hindi, Sanskritam, and English. She has regularly appeared on Makkal TV as part of their religious and cultural programs. Bhuvaneshwari ji has performed at various venues, including Bharatiya Vibhavam and Ratna Temple in Besant Nagar, as well as at the Vadaparani Murugan Koil and the Chembur Fine Arts in Mumbai. Her topics have included Durga Saptashati, Shri Rudram, Chamakam, Sandhya Vandanam, and Bhagavad Gita, Shiva Ratri, Krishna Janmashtami, and Avani Avittam. She has also offered Hindi-Tamil translation services for a Bhashanam delivered by His Holiness Puri Puradishwara Srimad Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Swami Nishalananda Saraswati. In addition to her speaking engagements, Bhuvaneshwari ji is a Bharatanatyam dancer and a disciple of Kalaimamani Srimati Roja Kannadji. She is currently pursuing a CA articleship and a MA in Sanskritam at Tanjavur Shastra University. So we have two sessions. The first session right now, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the second session will happen today at 5 p.m. We will be going into the procedure and the significance of Vivaham. So with that introduction, I would invite Bhuvaneshwari ji to take over the session and take us through the landscape of this very, very essential, part of one's life in Sanatana Dharma. So over to you, Bhuvaneshwari ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Hariji, for the apt and crisp introduction. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Namasabhabhyaha, Sabhapatibhyascha. Namaskarams and salutations to everyone present here. The Upanyasam on Vivaham will comprise of 2 lectures. The current ongoing one will deal with the procedural aspects and the importance of Vivaham. And the evening session will deal with the lives of the Divya Dampatis, the Adarsha Dampatis, the virtues that they built into their marital life, and the footsteps that they have left for us to tread upon. We will begin with the Mangala Shloka. Vagartha viva sampraktau, Vagartha pratipattaye, Jagatah pitaro vande, Parvati Parameshwaro. My salutations to the Jagan Mata Pita, Parvati and Parameshwara, who are in eternal union and can never be separated, like the meaning gets never separated from its word. Before we get started with the significance and the procedural aspects of Vivaham, let us have a quick go-through of the list of Divya Dampatis. Let's salute them first and then start Vivaham. Starting from the immemorial Dampatis to the medieval ones and to the living legends, we have Yatha Suryam Suvarchala, Arundhati Vasishtham Cha, Rohini Shashinam Yatha, Lopa Mudra Yatha Gastyam, Sukanya Chyavanam Yatha, Savitri Satyavantam Cha, Kapilam Srimati Yatha, Saudasam Madayantiva, Keshini Sagaram Yatha, Naishadham Damayantiva, Bhaimi Pate Manuvrata, Tathaham Ikshvaku Varam, Ramam Pate Manuvrata. These are the list of Dampatis that Sita lists in the Sundarakanda. She says to Ravana that I have to be like how Suvarchala was to Suryadeva, like how Arundhati Devi was to sage Vasishtha, like how Rohini is to Chandrat Bhagavan, like how Lopamudra Devi is to sage Agastya, like how Srimati is to Kapila, like how Sukanya is to Chavana, like how Savitri is to Satyavan, like how Madayanti is to Saudasa, and like how Damayanti is to Nala. I also wish to be, and I am the Pativrata and the Anuvrata of the descendant of the Ikshvaku clan, Rama. And saying so, she outrightly rejects Ravana. So starting from these Dampatis, next we have the king Ranti Deva and his wife. We will the story of their marital life and how they have dedicated their life for the betterment of the welfare of their kingdom will be dealt in the evening session. And then we have the illustrious Dampati, poet saint Jayadeva and his wife Padmavati. Then we have Tiruvalluvar and Vasuki, and the immortal Dampati Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Shri Sharada Devi. In the very recent times, recent history, we have Shri Sadashivam and Bharat Ratna MS Subbalakshmi Amma, and the living couple Srimati Dimple Chima and Shri Vikram Batra. So this is an important couple, and we have to pay our special regards and honors to Srimati Dimple Chima and Shri Vikram Batra. Shri Vikram Batra is not physically with us, but is also with us. They are nothing short of Rati and Manmatha. In an episode in Kumara Sambhavam of Kalidasa states, Bhasmavashesham Madanam Chakara. Shiva burns down Manmatha to a pile of ash, and then Rati is inconsolable at the loss of her husband. And later on, she is granted the special vision to view her husband. Now Manmatha, who's now an Anangaha, matlab meaning a bodiless man, a man with no body, yet he's visible only to his wife. As Shankara says, Jagadidam Anango Vijayate. Who is the victor everywhere? Who emerges victorious everywhere he goes? It is this Manmatha, it is this Anangaha, it is this Kandarpa, it is this Cupid who wins everywhere. And likewise, Shri Vikram Batra, the martyr of the Kargil war, even though he may not be present physically with us right now, he is visible to his beloved Srimati Dimple Chima. Their attachment to each other is so great and par excellence that it does not require any formal solemnization of marriage, and hence they have secured a place in our list of Dampatis today, and our special salutations to them. We will now start with Vivaham. What is Vivaham? Grammatically speaking, the word Vivaham is derived with V upasarga plus Vah dhatu plus Ganj pratyaya, meaning Visheshena Vahanam ityarthe Vivaha Shabdaha Nishpannaha. The meaning of the Vivaham is in its Vigraha Vakyam Visheshena Vahanam. What is this Visheshena Vahanam? Vahanam means to carry, the carriage. Visheshena matlab, especially, something special. So something special is being carried. That is Vivaham. What is this special thing that Vivaham carries? Dharma is the special thing that Vivaham carries. It is for the perpetual existence of Dharma that Vivaham is an absolute must in the society. We will understand how when we talk about the significance of Vivaham. Now, broadly speaking, there are 8 types of Vivaham: Brahma, Prajapatya, Deva, Arsha, Gandharva, Asura, Rakshasa, and Paishacha. We will have a look at one or more of these types of Vivahams. The first one being Brahma Vivaham. So this is a marriage which is conducted before the boy or the girl turn barely 10. So this is an age-old practice, and it is particular only to certain Vedic families, not all Vedic families also. Next, we have the much spoken about, the much popularized Gandharva Vivaham. And thanks to Shakuntala and Dushyanta for propitiating that. Gandharva Vivaham, on one hand, it is an advantageous tool for the young lovers, and at the same time, it heavily weighs down on the parents and elders of the family of both the Vara and Vadhu. Shakuntala and Dushyanta, not only have they married through Gandharva Vivaham, They've given an opportunity for Mahakavi Kalidasa to pen his magnum opus called Abhignana Shakuntalam, which has stood the test of time, which is a favorite, hot favorite of all scholars and poets. And not only to him did they give an opportunity, they have also given an opportunity to today's filmmakers to make films on their love saga, Shakuntala and Dushyanta. Next, we have Rakshasa Vivaham. So, Rakshasa Vivaham is a type of Vivaham wherein the bridegroom abducts the bride without the knowledge of her parents, but with the full consent of the bride herself. A very cute example for this type of Vivaham is Rukmini Krishna Vivaha Vaibhavam. Rukmini is the strong lady who beats all stereotypes of today's Gen Z marriage market love trend. So it is always expected that the man comes and woo the woman. He should make the first step. Let him make the first move. You sit back and just ask him just wait for him to ask you out. So, but Rukmini doesn't bother about all these things. She outrightly gives her heart out in a love letter, perhaps the first historical love letter given by a girl to a man. And this love is such love that has blossomed in her heart, even without seeing that lover, even without speaking with him, even without gelling with him. Today, we have got a lot of issues in marrying. We say that we need time to gel together, we need to date, and we need this courtship period. But for Rukmini, nothing was necessary. Krishna Leela, just the Shravanam of Krishna Leela was enough for her to surrender herself unto Krishna. And she writes in her love letter, "Oh, Tribhuvana Sundara, the most handsome of all." Well, here she has never seen Krishna, but for her, he is the most handsome guy. She says in her letter that she is to be abducted by Krishna, the abductor, and she even mentions the place of abduction. She gives the time of abduction and the methodology of abduction also. And so then Krishna arrives from Dwarka with his Panchajanya, takes Rukmini, and they live happily ever after in their Dwarka. So wherever there is a talk about Vivaham and Prem, love, etc., Rukmini and Krishna can never be missed upon. The next type of Vivaham is Paishacha Vivaham and is considered the worst type of Vivaham of all the 8 Vivahams. Here, the bridegroom abducts the bride without the consent of the parents of the bride and also without the consent of the bride also. So this is the worst kind of Vivaham. Another type is Asura Vivaham. Asura Vivaham is a Vivaham wherein the father of the bride takes gifts and emoluments from the bridegroom for conducting the marriage of his daughter. Today's times, none of these Vivahams are applicable, as we come to know that the marriageable age of the girl is 18 and the boy is 21. And every Vivaham takes place with the unconditional and full support of both the Var and Vadhu. The key thing to note in the Vivahik procedures is that, number 1, the Var and Vadhu should not be belonging to the same Gotra. They should not be co-Gotra people. So what do we mean by when we say we belong to this particular Gotra? Suppose I say I belong to this Kaundinya Gotra. That means I am the descendant of the Maharishi Kaundinya. So someone says I belong to Vishwamitra Gotra. That means he is the descendant of Maharishi Vishwamitra. So people, the descendants of the same Rishi, are brothers and sisters, and they are not suitable bride and bridegrooms. So only inter-Gotra marriages are to be conducted, and it is advisable that marriage between close relatives are not to be conducted. Next, we have in Tamil the Dasha Poruttams. It is a compatibility check. So there are 10 matches according to which score is generated and the compatibility of the Var and Vadhu is checked. So the Dasha Poruttams are, in Tamil, let me read it out. We have the Dina Puruttam, Gana Puruttam, Mahendra Puruttam, Stri Dirgha Puruttam, Yoni Puruttam, Rashi Puruttam, Rashi Adhipati Puruttam, Vashiya Puruttam, Rajju Puruttam, and Nadi Puruttam. Dina Puruttam is checked for the long and fruitful, problem-free married life. Gana Puruttam is checked for the compatibility of the personalities of the Var and Vadhu. Then we have Mahendra Puruttam, which is considered for progeny. We have the Stri Dirgha Purutam, which is checked upon to analyze the financial status and prosperity of this married couple. We have the Yoni Purutam, which represents the sexual compatibility of this couple. We have the Rashi Purutam, wherein the compatibility of the zodiac signs, Rashis of the Var and Vadhu are checked. Rashi Adhipati Purutam, the compatibility of the governing lords of their zodiac signs are checked. Vashiya Purutam, it is considered to check the mutual attraction between the Var and Vadhu. Rajju Purutam represents the Mangalya Bhagyam of the girl, and Nadi Purutam is required for the longevity and happy married life. Having said so, it is definitely considered for matchmaking, but over and above all these Purutams, the most important Purutam is the Manapurutam, that is the unification of hearts. So when you have decided that this is the person I'm going to marry and I will be steadfast in my decision, and that is more important than any of these Dasha Purutams. So we get to see an example of this in Savitri and Satyavan's story. Savitri sees a man in the forest and decides that this is the person that I'm going to get married to. Narada comes and warns Savitri, Savitri, be aware, this man that you have chosen as your husband, he will face death in just a year. Are you still going to go ahead with your decision? And she stays firm in her decision. She decided that yes, this is the person I want to get married to. I'm worried about none other thing. And she goes ahead with the decision. So after the Dasha Purutams, let's see, when is this marriage typically performed, or when is the topic called marriage taken up? So typically marriages are performed when the planet Guru looks at the person in his horoscope. Whenever the parents take the horoscopes of their daughter or son to the astrologer says that, okay, we can wait for some time. Guru Parve Varanuma. Guru Parve means the drishti, the Guru Phalan, the blessing of the planet Guru, basically planet Jupiter. But what in case the Guru Parve is a far-fetched blessing? It's not anywhere close right now. What do we do then? There are methodologies to attract the blessings of our planet Guru. Number 1, worship of the planet Guru, doing Navagraha Shanti Homams. Number 3, worship of Shri Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti is a form of Lord Shiva, wherein this resplendent, youthful teacher sits under the banyan tree, and near his feet sit these grey-haired men, old disciples. Chitram Vatataror Mule, Vridha Shishya Gurur Yuva, Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshayaha. Here, what is to be noted is Vridha Shishya Gurur Yuva. The Shishyas are age-old people, and the Guru is a young man. And this young man, he teaches his age-old disciples mere silence, and his mere silence dispels all the ignorance and the doubts of his disciples. So this God for Viveka, Jnana and Vairagya is also propitiated to receive the Vivaha Bhagya blessings. Number 3, in the simpler sense, salutations and worshipping our own Guru will make us be recipients of the blessings of the planet Guru. And number 4, in the deeper sense, fulfilling the commandments of our Guru will also attract the blessings of the planet Guru. So one should never be disheartened by the maybe disappointing, seemingly disappointing planetary positions in our horoscope. It can be compensated even if there is not a great favorable planetary position. It can be compensated with our perseverance and steadfast devotion. A great example for this is that a young boy is turned away by his Guru because he lacks the Vidya Rekha in his Anjali. In his palm, there is no Vidya Rekha. And then Guru says, no, even if I teach you, you're not going to learn anything. Nothing will get inside your brain. And then this boy, he doesn't give up. He takes a knife and carves out the Vidya Rekha for himself. And this boy turns to be none other than the all-time Samskrita grammarian Maharishi Panini, who is the author of Ashtadhyayi. So this looking at the perseverance and the steadfast devotion into Vidyarjanam, the Guru imparts him accepts him as his disciple and gives him all the knowledge that he has got. So let us understand that even the planetary positions are only secondary. Our devotion and trust on Ishvara is the primary aspect that is required for Vivaham. Now let us get into the central point of this discussion. Why Vivaham? Why should we marry? What is the necessity for this institution called marriage? Vivaham is the medium through which the four purusharthas of life can be fulfilled. What are the four purusharthas of life? It's pretty simple. Everybody knows this. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha are the four ordained purusharthas of life. Whenever a person is born into this world, he is born with a responsibility. He is born as a debtor. He owes three people three debts. He is born with Devarina, Pitrarina, and Rishirina. What is Devarina, Pitrarina, and Rishirina? The Devas are the cosmic forces which administer and govern this universe under the direction of the Supreme Lord. All these forces of nature give us bountiful blessings. Surya Bhagavan gives us sunshine. Vayu Bhagavan is the life force. And the Varuna Bhagavan, yes, of course, we need water. So all these people, all the Devas are constantly showering their blessings on us. And in return, we have to show our gratitude to them. And if we don't show our gratitude, if we don't give anything in return, if it is a mere one-way traffic, then who are we? We are merely a thief who takes but never gives anything. And so says Krishna Paramatma, Yo bhungte stena eva saha. This man who takes from nature but never gives anything in return is verily a thief. And that is why he says, Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantuvaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah paramavapsyatha. The Devas give their blessings, and in return, we have to give ahuti to those Devas. So they will take the ahuti that we give through the medium of yajna. They will become powerful, and again they will shower their blessings on us. So it is a two-way traffic and not just a one-way traffic that we keep receiving and not give anything. So it is our responsibility to give offerings to these Devas. How are we to do that? By conducting yajnas. And who can conduct these yajnas? Brahmacharinaha karmani adhikaraha nasti. The brahmachari has no rights to perform all these Vedic rituals. Then who can perform it? It is only the grahastha who has got this license and eligibility to perform all these yajna karyas. So just like the Upanayana Brahmopadesa is the license for the Vatu to get initiated to chant the Gayatri mantra, Vivaham is the license for any person, for the bachelor to come out of Brahmachari ashrama, to enter Grastha ashrama and be eligible to conduct all these yajnas. Why? Because now he has to discharge the debt that he owes to the Devas. So this is one type of dharma. The second dharma is discharging the debt that we owe to our ancestors. That is discharging the pitrarina. We are born, we are protected, we are nurtured, we are cared for by our parents and forefathers, etc. So it creates and obligates us to give something in return to them, and that is in the form of Shraddha and Tarpana. Now, to perform the Shraddha and Tarpana, we have to get married, we have to beget a progeny, procreation should be there so that the lineage continues and never stops. Arjuna cites the reason of Pitrapatitvam as a major reason to withdraw from the Kurukshetra battle. He says, Patanti pitaro hyesham luptapindodaka kriyaha. Arjuna says to Krishna, if all the men are killed in this war of Kurukshetra, who's that person who will remain to offer the pinda to the Pitrus? And if the pinda pradhanam is not done, the Pitrus might fall from the Pitraloka. And such is the concern that Arjuna had. And from this, we can understand the imperiality of the importance of Pitra Shraddha, Pitra Rina that is on our shoulders to discharge. And how do we do it? As we already had a look at through Shraddha and Tarpana, and this can be performed only by the progeny, and so we should get married, and so we should beget children. Next is the third rina that we owe to the rishis, the rishi rina. All the rishis have undergone stringent, strict, severe austerities to understand the Vedas, to get the knowledge from this universe, and very compassionately they have passed it on, whatever they have received, to their shishyas through the Guru Shishya Parampara. How difficult it would be if we had to do everything all by ourselves. Suppose if we had to make the road, we had to travel all by ourselves, travel alone without knowing the path. It is going to be a very, very difficult uphill task. But if someone has already done the job for us, like our gurus who have already found out what is there, what is the destination, what is the marga, he has already given a map to us. Now it's going to be very easy. So we have to show gratitude to those magnanimous rishis. And how do we show that gratitude? Our gratitude to them would be studying the Vedas, taking trouble in studying all that they have provided to us, having an interest in religious education, pursuit of religious education, and be culturally informed, and respect our forefathers and their parampara and their traditions. And this frees us from this intellectual debt called Rishi Rina. This Rishi Rina can be discharged even in the Brahmacharya ashrama. But what do we do about the Deva Rina and Pitra Rina? We need to get married for us to hold on to this dharma. So by means of all these, by means of Vivaham, we are able to discharge our responsibility. And so we are able to attain the dharma purushartha of the four purusharthas. Now, speaking about yajna, like when we spoke about the Devarana, we need to perform yajnas who by the ahuti of which the devas will be happy and they will constantly keep showering their blessings. Yajnas have been held in high esteem in our Vedic civilization. Let us have a look at Mahabharatam and Ramayanam. In Ramayanam, we have the Putra Kameshti Yajna performed by Dashratha for begetting a progeny, and he was blessed with Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna. Rama and Lakshmana guarded the Yajna of Vishwamitra, which was necessary to regain back his lost powers, and in return, he gave the Upadesham of the Bala Atibala mantram to Rama, which came in handy during the battle between Ravana and Rama in the Yuddha Kanda of Ramayana. And then next we have the Yajna performed by Indrajit in Nikumbhila. Had it been completed, Indrajit would have become completely invincible. But it had to be stopped because he was doing for a negative purpose. Now coming to Mahabharata, it was out of this sacrificial fire that rose the key characters, Draupadi and Drishtadyumna. We have the Rajasuya Yajna conducted by Yudhishthira, having crowned himself the Chakravarti of Indraprastha. And then in the finale, after the Kurukshetra war, we have him performing the Ashwamedha Yajna. So a yajna is very important and has a very integral place in the Vedic civilization. What is important for yajna is the Agni. The Vedas say, Agni Mukhavai Sarva Devataha. All the devatas are to be approached only by Agni. So basically, Agni is working as a postman here. If we have to offer Ahuti to Indradeva, we should first give it to Agni, who will take it to Indradeva. If we have to offer Ahuti to Varuna, again we have to give it to Agni, who will take it to Indradeva. So Agni cannot be dismissed at all, and he has this irreplaceable place in the rituals of a householder. How is this connected to Vivaham? Let's have a look at that. The father who has been preserving and nurturing this Agni, what does he typically do? From his Agni, he gives a share of his Agni to his son, and the son conducts his Vivaham from the Agni that he received from his father. Post Vivaham, he does the Agni Karya called as Aupasanum. This Aupasanum is not a big, long, lengthy procedure. It's just a ritual, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, 30 minutes homam once in 15 days, known as Sthali Pakam. What is done in Sthali Pakam? In Sthali Pakam, We cook the rice in the very Agni, and the cooked rice is given as the Ahuti in that Agni of Sthalipakam. So this is just a small introduction into Sthalipakam. Sthalipakam is Aupasanam is a miniature of Agnihotram, and Sthalipakam is a miniature ritual of an Ishti. Now, the son who has received Agni from his father, who is now preserving that Agni without letting it doze off, what he will do with his Agni, he will keep it alive as long as he is alive. And the father who gave this Agni to his son, he will offer his body itself as Ahuti to this Agni when his time ends. And who will do the cremation? The son will do the cremation with the very same Agni that he received for his father. And this Agni will keep continuing as the Kula Agni for generations to generations, and it will never let to die off. But in case, even if it dies, it has to be rekindled by performing the Chinna Agni Sandhanam. It's a simple procedure, but there are procedures. So we shouldn't be saying that, oh, I'm not able to do it because there are several innumerable complexities involved. We use our cleverness and smartness in many avenues. We have to be very witty here also and not give lame excuses to escape the regulations and the responsibilities ordained for a householder. Now, Agni Mukhavai Sarva Devataha, we have got to know about that. So, if we have to propitiate the Devas, that is, if we have to discharge the debt to the Devas, we need to preserve the Agni. And so, Aupasanam is an important and indispensable post-marriage ritual. It should not end with the Vivaham itself. In Vivaham, we do the Aupasanam, but it should not end in the Muhurta day itself. It has to continue forever. And saying so, we have looked at the dharmic aspects, how Vivaham helps in the fulfillment of the Dharma Purushartha. Now, after the Dharma Purushartha comes the Artha Purushartha. The householder has this responsibility to earn money. He has to have a solid regular income so that he supports not only himself but also the members of the other ashrama, because in the brahmacharya ashrama, in the vanaprastha ashrama, in the sannyasa ashrama, none of the members of these ashramas are earning members. Then who will support them? It is this grahasthan who has to support the other members of the society too. So he has to earn for himself also and for the sake of others also. Now today we are facing this problem of income. How do we create additional margas, additional ways of income, and so many things, so on and so forth, related to income and investment and interest. A lot of discussion is going about in this topic, but here in Vedas it is very well evident that mere observance of the responsibilities ordained in the Agrasthashrama will give us enough wealth and richness. And how is that? Arogyam bhaskarati ichet, shriyam ichet hutashana. If a person wants health, he has to worship Lord Surya. And if a person wants wealth, he has to worship Agni. That's exactly what we are doing as the householder. Worship of Agni, preservation of the Agni, and through Agni we are worshipping the Devas. So the Artha and Dharma are a cyclic process. If we follow the Dharma, we are definite to get Artha. And there is this beautiful Niti Shloka which says, Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayat yati patratam, patratvat dhanamapnoti, dhanat dharmam tatas sukham. So pretty simple shloka, everybody is aware of this. Vidya dadati vinayam. Knowledge gives us humility. The more we know, the more we understand that there is a lot more to know. So that gives us humility. Humility gives us worthiness. Vinayat yati patratam. Patratvat dhanamapnoti. This worthiness gives us wealth. Dhanat dharmam. And through this wealth, we are able to do dharma. Yes, the householder needs a lot of riches, wealth, gold, cows. In those days, cows, goats, and sheep, they used to be the yardstick to measure the richness of a person. So all these are extremely necessary for the conduction of the Vedic life. So the yajnas are extremely costly. We need money. We need the Vaidika Samagri for us to perform the yajnas. And this is exactly that we pray to Ishvara also for. So in the Chamaka Prashna that follows the Rudra Prashna, we ask God. We have Chame, 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 Chame appearing everywhere. So that means that, oh Lord, give me this, give me pashus, give me abundance of food. There should be no shortage of any Vaidika Samagri. Give me a beautiful house to reside in. So all these are material aspects that we ask Ishvara for, but for the performance of dharma. And so Vivaham also helps us establish Artha Purushartha also. Now coming to the third Purushartha, the Kama Purushartha. Lord Krishna says in second chapter that Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudrama apaha pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantima apnoti nakamakami. Just like the ocean, how this magnificent ocean is undisturbed by the incessant flow of water from the various rivers that adjoin it. The person who is undisturbed by the flow of material objects, desirable objects that keep revolving around him, he is the man who attains peace and not the man who is on a spree fulfilling his desires that arise every other second in his mind. So he gives a pill in chapter 2. He says a man who runs behind desires can never be happy, can never attain peace of mind. But then at the same time, in chapter 7, he gives a relaxation tone. He says, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. O great warrior of the Bharat race, listen, any desire that is of dharmic nature, I am the form of that very desire. And so says Krishna Bhagavan. So Vivaham allows the fulfillment of our desires which are in tandem with dharma, which are allied and in parallel with dharma. This is necessary as Vivaham, keeping the final goal as moksha in mind. It allows us to experience and overcome all these enjoyments and pleasures which are necessary to overcome the vasanas or the impressions of our previous births. And so Vivaham also enables in the fulfillment of our Kamya Ichhas also, which are in tandem with the Dharma. To put it in a beautiful, short, crisp way, Mahakavi Kalidasa says in Raghuvamsham, the Kriyakramam of the Raghuvanshis, Shaishave Abhyasta Vidyanam, Yauvane Vishayeshinam, Vardhake Munivrittinam, Yogenante Tanutyajam. The Raghuvanshis, in their childhood and boyhood days, they focus in mastering the Vedas, the Vedangas, the Shastras, etc., etc. Full concentration on, they come into the book mode, the study mode. Yauvane Vishayeshinam, in their youthhood, their minds are predisposed for material pleasures. Vardhake Munivrittinam, and in their old age, they gravitate towards saint-like activities. Yogenante Tanutyajam. And where their time has come, they yoke their minds with the Almighty, evict their souls out of their body, dispose of this body, and finally attain moksha. So this is the style of Raghuvanshis. And saying so, we have now completed the Kama Purushartha also. And how does Vivaham lead to Moksha Purushartha? Only through Vivaham, a man's character is polished and his personality and character, it grows in leaps and bounds. His chitta is purified. He gains vairagya, viveka, paripakvata, and maturity, all the virtues that are completely necessary in a mumukshu. A mumukshu is a person who wants moksha. So we should understand that Vivaha is not a vigna in the path of moksha, but it acts as a catalyst in expediting the spiritual growth of a person. And not only it benefits a person as an individual, but also as a society, it is very beneficial. Now let us see the material aspects of what Vivaha provides for the Var and Vadhu and also for their family. So it provides the security, the protection, it takes care of the physical needs, emotional and psychological, physiological needs of both the Var and Vadhu. It also gives protection to the age-old people to the children, and to the dependents on the Var and Vadhu. It protects everybody. It encompasses an extended family. And if every family functions this way, then the society is going to be very fruitful. Nobody is going to suffer in the society. There is no sufferer in the society. So as a member of the society also, we are very blessed and fortunate to have good families in the society who will perform all these punya karyas and be benefited, and we be benefited from those punya karyas. So in a beautiful nutshell, there is a shloka that says, यथा वायुं समाश्रित्य वर्तन्ते सर्वजन्तवः तथा गृहस्थाश्रमाश्रित्य वर्तन्ते सर्वे आश्रमाः. Like how all the living beings depend on the Vayu Bhagavan for its existence, the same way all the ashramas depend upon this grihastha for its existence. So saying so, we have now understood the vitality of Vivaham. Now going to the procedures of Vivaham. Every Veda, every Shakha has got its own instructions, rituals, and sampradayas pertaining to it. Now we will have a look at the procedures ordained by Apastambha Maharishi in his Apastambha Sutra. So this is applicable to Krishna Yajurveda and Taittiriya Shakha. The 5 major rituals of Vivaham are Vagdanam cha Pradhanam cha Varanam Panipedanam Saptapaditi Panchango Vivaha Parikirtitaha. So the 5 major, there are a lot of rituals, but the 5 major rituals are Vagdanam, the oral promise of the parents to get their wards married to each other. Pradhanam, the Kanyadanam, wherein the father offers his daughter as the bride to the bridegroom by stating the 3 pravaras, the 3 ancestors of the bride, and also blessing her with good progeny. Varanam is the honoring of the bridegroom by the bride's family. Pani Pedanam, the Pani Grahanam, the crucial act of marriage, and Saptapadi, the conclusive evidence, the conclusive ritual of marriage. Panchango Vivaha Parikirtitaha. So these are the 5 major rituals in a marriage. These are the 5 major rituals, and we have 2 most crucial rituals known as Pani Grahanam and Saptapadi. So let's get started with what happens on the first day prior to the day of marriage. On the first day, we have got the Vratam or Vratam and Samavartanam. What does this Vratam and Samavartanam signify? This is basically performed by the bridegroom, but an act which typically should have been performed by him in his boyhood days during his study of Veda Dhyana in his Gurukula. Whenever the Vedas are divided into 4 kandas, Prajapatya, Saumya, Agneya, and Vaishwadeva. So when you study the Prajapatya Kanda, Prajapatya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. Saumya Kanda, then Saumya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. Agneya Kanda, then Agneya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. Vaishwadeya, then even Vaishwadeya Vrata Homa has to be conducted. But this has to be done in his boyhood days when he is a student. But for the benefit of not missing it out, we are doing it a day prior to the marriage. It can be done anytime. And unfortunately, in most cases, the Upanayana Samskara itself is done only a day prior to the marriage, because it is the rule that one has to proceed from Brahmacharya Ashrama to Grihastha. So you have to become a Brahmachari by, you have to be initiated into the Upanayana Samskara. You have to do Veda Dhyana. So this Vrata is basically Veda Dhyana done in 3 hours. No, a full 15-year study is now compiled into it's now pressed into a 3-hour or 4-hour program. Now, after the Veda Dhyana, what happens? After we complete our studies in college, we have this convocation day. And parallel to this convocation, we have the Samavartanam that takes place after the Vrata Kanda Vrata Homa. After the Samavartanam, the morning rituals are done, and we move on to the evening. Evening, the Nishchedartha takes place. And Nishchedartha is the place where the parents of the bride and the bridegroom exchange, they give promises that, yes, I decide to marry my daughter to your son. and the same vice versa. This is a Shastroktamana ritual. It's a ritual prescribed in the Shastras. Now, there is, following this, there is a fun ritual. It's a culturally imbibed ritual known as the Januvasam. Now, what is this Januvasam? It is parading the bridegroom in the streets so that everyone has a look at this guy. And so, oh, so this is going to be the son-in-law of this family and this person, and he is going to be the husband of so and so girl. It's just an introduction of the bridegroom to the members of the society. And it is followed by the sangeet or the mehendi function, like today we have in these today's marriages. And it is basically a fun activity, not prescribed in the shastra, but it is also an indispensable part right now. It is, we say that Januvasam is going on, it is important, and it has become an unremovable part of marriage. So all these activities, starting from the Kandavrata Homa and the Samavartanam, Nishchedartham, and Januvasam, these precede the day of marriage. And so let us, before we start with the procedures of the marriage date, let us understand the two most crucial aspects of marriage, that is Panigrahanam and Saptapadi. When we say Panigrahanam, the signature statement of Ramayana is what comes to our mind. Iyam Sita mama suta sahadharma charitava praticha chainam bhadramte panim grinhishva panina. So Janaka says to Rama, Iyam Sita mama suta, this is Sita, my daughter. Sahadharma charitava is the partner in all your righteous activities. Again, something that has that needs our attention here. A partner in all righteous activities. So it is the job of the wife to go and be in tandem, be a companion for her husband only if the husband treads on the righteous path, and pull him back if he goes astray. Praticha chainam badramte, take her and she will give you great fortune. Panim grinhishva panina, take her hand in your hand. Panim grinhishva panina. So we should be very well aware that this Panigrahana has to be performed for the first time only in our marriage. But unfortunately, everywhere we are seeing Panigrahanams happening every now and then with handshakes with any person, any random guy or any random girl. So this is a ritual that we have to perform only with our consort and not with anyone else. I think COVID has well taught the importance of Namaste, Vanakkam, Namaskaram, rather than the hi, hello, how are you, in the Western style of greeting. So we should now, again, to the best of our abilities, follow the Namaskara procedure and not go into this the westernized Panigrahanam. Following Panigrahanam is Saptapadi. Saptapadi is that ritual that says that now the Vivaham is complete, you are man and wife, and now this Vivaham becomes irrevocable. Saptapadi means taking 7 steps together. The mere act of walking blossoms into friendship. And no wonder that companies nowadays they are encouraging team games, team lunches, team outings, just to give the spark to that team spirit and make them work as one team, as one unit, rather than everybody going in each other's direction. So here, Saptapadi plays a very important role in establishing the relationship between husband and wife. It says that the Sakha Saptapada Bhava, the mantra of Saptapadi, begins as such. It says, you become my friend. You are first my friend. The bridegroom says, I have taken 7 steps with you, and by this I have become your friend. May this friendship between us last forever. May this bind us together, and may we never cease to be friends. May we attain, may our minds be united, may our radiance be one. May we be united in harmony and in affection, radiant with kind thoughts, enveloped in enjoyment and strength, united in our minds, our vows, and hearts. So let us understand that the BFF term that has generated today was well generated thousands of years back, best friends for life. they have taken this sankalpa to be best friends before even they being husband and wife. So the base for them being a husband and wife is this friendship upon which the edifice of marriage is going to be built. He says, I'm the sky and you are the earth. I'm the seed and you are the bearer. I'm the mind, you are the speech. I'm the melody, you are the words. Let us dwell together in happiness and may our progeny attain supreme glory. So these are the meaning of the mantras in Saptapadi. Even in the Vanaparva of Mahabharata, we have the Yaksha Prashna, wherein Yaksha questions he tests the intelligence and fairness of the oldest brother, Yudhishthira. Two important questions Yaksha asks. And one question is, Yaksha Vacha, Kimswit Pravasato Mitram, Kimswin Mitram Grihe Sataha, Haturasya cha Kim Mitram, Kimswin Mitram Marishyataha. Who is the friend during an exile? Who is the friend of the householder? Who is the friend of a person who is ailing? And who is the friend of a person who is about to die? And Yudhishthira replies, Sarthaha Pravasato Mitram Bharya Mitram Grihe Sataha. A companion during our travel. He is the friend during our exile. And Bharya Mitram Grihe Sataha. Who is my friend? My wife is the friend in my house. Aturasya Bhishang Mitram. For a man who is ailing, who's a person suffering great illness, for him the friend is a doctor. Danam Mitram Marishyataha. The one who's about to die, his Mitram, his friend is charity. Another question that Yaksha asks is, Kimsvidatma Manushyasya, Kimsvid Daivakritaha Sakha, Upajivanam Kimsvidasya, Kimsvidasya Parayanam. Yaksha asks, who is the soul of man? Who is the friend bestowed by God on a man? Who is the man's chief support and who is also his chief refuge? And then the answer goes like, Yudhishthira Uvacha, Putra Atma Manushyasya, Bharya Daivakritaha Sakha. Son is the soul of the man and Bharya is the God-sent friend. Wife is the God-sent friend of a man. Just what the Tamil poet Kannadasa says, Manevi ameivadellam irevan kudutha varame. Manevi ameivadellam irevan kudutha varame, meaning getting a wife is a God's blessing. Only if you have the paripurna blessings of God, you will be blessed with a wife. Bharya daiva kritaha sakha. And we know how important friendship is in today's life. Starting from Arjuna and Krishna and to our own best friends. We know the vitality and the importance and the integral role that our friend plays in our life. So saying so, we have understood that it is the friendship that keeps the Bharya and the Bharta together. We have just had a peep, just the tip of the iceberg of the two most important rituals of the Vivaha procedures. I think the other procedures will be covered in the second session along with the lives of the Divya Dampatis and Adarsha Dampatis. And let us have a quick recap of what we just saw in the last 1 hour. So we saw about the formation of the word Vivaha, how it emerges from V plus Vah Dhatu plus Ganj Pratyaya. We saw about the 8 types of Vivaham: Brahma, Deva, Prajapatya, Gandharva, Rakshasa, Asura, Paishacha, Arsha Vivaham. And then we had a look about the Dasha Purutams: Dina, Gana, Mahendra, Stri Dirgha Purutam, Yoni Purutam, Rashi, Rashi Adhipati, Vashya, Nadi, and Rajju Purutam. And how what is the most important aspect of this Purutam is something beyond this is the Mana Purutam. And the typical time when the marriages are fixed, that is during the Guru Parvai. Even if the Guru Parvai is not there, how to attract his blessings through the worship of the planet Guru, through worship of Dakshinamurti and performing the Navagraha Shanti Homams. And then we had a look about the vitality of Vivaham, how Vivaham helps us discharge our debt to all the devas, the pitras, and the rishis. And then we saw how important yajna is in the Vivaham, how how the fire is to be preserved, how it is to be nurtured and kept alive for generations to come, how it enables in the fulfillment of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. In artha, we saw arogyam it bhaskarat ichet, shriyam ichet hutashana, ask for wealth from Lord Surya and ask for wealth from Lord Agni, and is that exactly what we are doing as the householders, and how it enables in the fulfillment of dharmic desires, the kama purushartha, and ultimately how it leads us to moksha. And afterwards, this is on a spiritual angle. As a member of the society, on a material basis, on this worldly parameters also, we saw how Vivaham plays a key role in the society, how it benefits all the members of all ages and all types, be it old people, be it children, or be it the dependents. Everybody is blessed by a single Vivaham. So Vivaham is extremely important, not only for the self, but also for the society. And then we entered into the procedures of Vivaham, basically the 5 major procedures being Vagdanam cha Pradhanam cha Varanam Panipedanam, Saptapaditi Panchango Vivaha Parikirtitaha. Vagdanam is the oral promise, Pradhanam is the Kanyadanam, the third one is the Varanam, the honoring of the bridegroom. Panipedanam is the Panigrahanam. We understood the importance and how we should actually reserve our hand only for our consort. And the Saptapadi, which is the basis of the friendship of the married couple, and how it is the conclusive ritual of a wedding. So even the Supreme Court accepts that this Saptapadi is what is conclusive of the wedding. Saptapadi, after Saptapadi, the marriage becomes irrevocable. It is finalized and the marriage is solemnized upon the completion of the 7th step. So, and I think we have covered a lot for this 1 hour. And in the next 1 hour, that is the evening session of 5 to 6, we will cover the remaining procedural aspects and also the wonderful stories and the virtues of the Divya Dampatis. And one more thing, we will cover the Mahadashirvadam, which is prescribed in the Vedas, which is typically showered to a couple after their marriage. Thank you, and I hand over the proceedings to Shri Hariji.
Thank you so much, Bhuvaneshwari ji. It was a very, very power-packed capsule of the entire, Vivaham, that is the practice of Vivaham and its significance. We have received a lot of questions, so maybe if we could take just a couple of them by extending it for a few minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
All right. So one of the question is why or how to repay debt if the parents have not been good to me? This is one of the questions. So the debt to ancestors relating to that.
See, there is this Vakya which says, Jivato Vakya Karanat Pratyabdham Bhuri Bhojanat. However our parents be, it is irrespective of them. What is our ordained responsibility is that Jivato Vakya Karanat, listen to our parents when they are alive, and after their death, we have to every year perform the Shraddha and Tarpana. So it is, you can't do away with our own responsibility. So to the extent possible, we have to discharge our responsibility. Otherwise, this Papa Punya is going to weigh heavily on us.
Right. We could also say how, when we expect other people to transact with us, we expect them to be righteous. But when we want to do something, there could be some compromises. So that's why even dharma is in the, the first purushartha, in a way, if we could say that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. So there aren't any more questions. Thank you so much once again, Bhuvaneshwari ji. We will meet again this evening at 5 p.m. to continue the study and reflection on this topic.
Thank you so much, Hariji. Thank you for all. Thank you all for staying there.
Yeah.
You've been a great audience. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.